I can teach you how to bewitch the mind and ensnare the senses. I can tell you how to bottle fame, brew glory, and even put a stopper in death.
Welcome to Snape Chat, the voice of the Snapedom, the podcast where we discuss all things Snape, always. Join us as we dive into the world of the bravest man we ever knew in art, fanfic, meta, and more. Obviously, this is Snape-centric with episode 41A, and the topic is Severitus, which is Snape and a parental or mentorship role to Harry. I chat with T1042, Paracosim, SerenaEW, and Megs about the many aspects and variations of this relationship. Episode 41B will be Escape Clauses, a fun audio play that is part of the Severitus Big Bang Fest this year. And they actually let me play Snape. But on to the discussion. Enjoy the show. This is Snape-centric, and I'm here with Megs.
Hi.
One of our regulars. A pretty regular. This is the third episode with SerenaEW.
Hello.
And Paracosim, also known as Basin.
Hello.
And you do some fic. You actually read some for, was that? Yeah, that was for.
I think it was back in the December episode.
It was the Snurth Day one, I think.
Yes, it was that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was great. And also T1042.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. And you're also a fic writer.
Yes, I write and I read fic.
Which do you prefer?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably writing it. I like to write anyways. Reading it's fun too, but every time I start reading it, I feel like I just want to start writing my own.
I'm so in awe of all you writers because I can't come up with enough words.
Yeah, it takes practice for sure.
Yeah.
And time.
I find other writers that will talk, so that kind of works so far.
The good news is there's no shortage of us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I never actually did a search for Snape on AO3 and then seen how many authors that means. That would be interesting. Anyway, our topic today is Severitus, and sorry about getting all off topic already before we even start. Okay, so people may have heard Severitus and not really known what it meant. I was definitely one of those people. It's like, yeah, it sounds like a condition of some sort.
Yeah, I know, like a medical condition.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
Like, oh no, what does he have?
Right? Yeah.
The heartbreak of Severitus.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Or what has he done to someone else? You know, it's like,
Right.
oh, I caught the Severitus.
There's no cure.
Yeah.
I caught it when I was 13 and I've been suffering ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, there is a way of spelling Severitus, or like a variant, which does not encompass the whole thing of Severitus, but like Severitis with all I and no U.
Oh.
And I think it's also something like, I'm not sure what it means. Like, I never got around to understanding the different variants of spelling Severitus.
Yeah, I think I've only ever seen the tag with all eyes, or at least I don't know. I know I've seen it.
Yeah, but like the double I, yeah, but the double I is making me, as a medical student, think of, inflammation, because itis is inflammation, period.
Yeah.
Like, no, I do not want that kind of, associations with that.
I'm going to spin it off in a real dramatic way. I know we're going to get into the Severitus challenge, but like part of it was to, Harry would slowly get, what was it, characteristics of Severus. So his nose maybe swelled or like.
That's evil, Megs.
I'm grasping at straws here. Obviously, I mean, someone came up with an idea and they chose the name and it stuck. So,
Yeah.
and here we are.
Severitus is actually like the original prompter's username.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm not sure they would know that they'd essentially coined a whole genre of
Like a whole movement.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You could make a religion out of this.
Yeah, that was in 2001 when Severitus posed the challenge. 7 various points, but the main one is that Snape is Harry's biological father. That's not necessarily what it means now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another one of the parts of the challenge was actually that Remus had to come back. Lupin had to come back and teach after third year.
Oh, interesting.
That was a requirement.
Yes.
It's funny because it was literally a challenge where they had a prompt and they were like, these are the guidelines of the prompt that I want filled, and then everyone has to do it. So
Yeah. Oh, so neat. Okay. Well, Severitus now also includes Snape as an adoptive father figure, or a mentor.
mm-hmm.
And people may have heard of Severitus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when you strictly define Severitus as biological father, then everything else is Severitus. So anybody got whiplash there? Kind of confused.
Yeah. And, if I may add to the confusion, there is also reverse Severitis, which basically means that Harry somehow travels back in time, or however the story is constructed, so that Harry is older than Severus, which means that Harry is the sort of mentor figure to Severus, which is like, okay.
That's a bit of a mindfuck.
I love that. I love it.
It's amazing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Plus, there is, if I may make the confusion complete, there is one fic on Potions and Snitches, which responds to the challenge called Role Reversal, but it's not Severitis. It is basically Harry being revealed as having been James's son after having an assumed biological father-son connection with Severus.
Oh, so it's like okay.
Oh, I think I actually read that back in the day.
Yeah, so there's that one. It's like,
Wow.
mind blown. I love
I'm-
this idea.
I'm learning so much. I only knew about the basic Severitis. I didn't know about all these little like side ones.
If you ever want to get even more confusing, go on to Potions and Snitches.
Yay, they've got all those amazing categories.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they were so nice.
Yeah, well, I've been on there. I've been on there plenty. It's a great site.
Yeah, it is. It is. Plus, the tag site alone, or like the category site alone, is so inspiring in terms of what you can do.
Yeah, the Snape flavors.
Yeah, I love that.
Severus and Harry, Genfic. Like, mind blown.
So my next point was, how did this come about? And there's a lot of different ways. Oh gosh, one fic I read and I don't remember what it was. See, I need to take notes like Serena does and like write down after I read things, or use my bookmarks properly.
Oh, do I do that?
The books are supposed to be your friends, so
I'm really structured for a very short amount of time, and then you totally get out of practice, and then you come back to it, and you're just like, oh gosh, this is just.
yeah. Well, there's so many good fics out there.
Mhm.
And I seem to get into a new area all the time, and it's just mind blowing.
And there are just so many talented writers out there that once you read one of their fan fictions, you suddenly wonder if they've got, maybe 50 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love when it's someone who, like, you go there for one fic or one ship that maybe they did a bunch of, and then all of a sudden you're like, I really love the way they write, so I don't care that they did this other ship, and you read literally all their stuff, and that's so much fun to know. It's like, okay, I really fell in love with this person's writing.
Yes.
I could read anything that they make. I don't care.
I have somebody who has followed me through 3 fandoms now since I posted my Harry Potter fanfiction.
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, I think I have a couple people that will be like, I never thought I would read something like this, but you wrote it, so I knew that I was gonna love it. It's just so funny.
Yeah, those readers are special when they follow you from fandom to
Yeah.
fandom.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody said once that one of my fics was like one of the first fan fiction they had ever read.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that, like, I mean, and this was like years and years ago that it was the first one they had read, and they had like somehow kept track of me, and I was like, I
Yeah.
was blown away. I was like, I had no idea that
I
there
know.
were people
So
out there
cool.
who like followed me. It's such a good feeling. It's so
It's
like
so
humbling,
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't been in fandom for long enough, lol.
Yeah, you'll get them, Serena.
You'll get there. Just don't get to the point where your coworker's mother finds your fan fiction and texts you about it.
Oh
Lol.
no.
That was uncomfortable.
Oh,
I mean,
Interesting.
I had like the opposite experience. Like we were talking, and then I found out that one of my so I'm a TA, and one of the teachers whom I TA'd under actually reads and downloaded my fanfic.
oh,
That was a what the heck is going on moment. I can't talk.
Yeah, me
Wow.
and a former coworker, but really good friends. Like we read each other's stuff and come up with ideas, and it's so funny. And we would talk about it at work, and our other coworker would be like, "Oh my God, you guys are just such nerds!" Like I just can't, like I can't believe you guys are just talking about this like so unapologetically and like the office. Like we're just like, "Oh yeah, this idea, blah blah blah," or I was doing this. Yeah, we didn't care.
Nice.
That's good.
somebody else may have heard of this one, but basically Lily marries James, and it turns out that he's actually in a relationship with Sirius and wanted Lily as a beard, so to speak.
Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Wanted to
Yeah.
appear straight or whatever. And then they kind of reunite a little bit, and she's got all this angst to give. But the reason Snape didn't know he was the biological father was she did some sort of like super glamour, so Harry would look more like James.
That is so common.
Okay. Yeah.
The old-fashioned.
That trope is so common in Biodad Snape fics. It is.
It
It's
is.
so common. Like
Is it? Okay. Uh-huh.
Lily's charm work, super glamour, blood glamour, whatever. Like one of the tropes in Biodad Snape fics.
Interesting.
And then
Yeah.
there's always a letter left for him on his 15th
Oh,
birthday or
yes.
whatever,
Yeah.
saying that the glamours are gonna start wearing
Oh,
off.
okay, yeah. For Harry to grow a nose.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, the letter is one of the yes. Oh my god, the letter.
So I guess, yeah, that would be a kind of a thing that Snape doesn't know all this stuff. Of course, if he knew, you'd think things would be different. Things would not have maybe went down the way they did. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lots of, what is that Star Trek thing? Infinite diversity and infinite combinations.
I mean, that's what fanfic is for.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's the whole thing. And then there's times when Snape either adopts or fosters Harry. Mason has a wonderful fic called That Awful Boy, which covers that, and it's just so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was very fun to write.
And I love how you did snooping on the side.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be the main focus, but I really wanted to try my hand at actually writing a romantic ship because I never really had before.
Amazing.
It's so wonderfully awkward.
Yeah, considering I got, what was it? I think 200,000 words in, and they hadn't really done more than hold hands.
Right?
I don't know if I actually succeeded.
It worked.
I mean,
Slow burn.
Extreme slow burn.
That's so
Good.
cute.
Commonly, that is where Snape finds out how the Dursleys have been treating Harry while he's been under their care.
yeah, Snape meets Dursleys is actually a tag on Potions and Stitches.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to go through that tag constantly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think it's one of the biggest tropes in Severitus too.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like potential like humor there because I mean the Snape is he can be such like a badass, and then if he's upset at Petunia and Vernon, he could just like totally like wreck their entire shit. So and it's so satisfying to read him just like kind of getting revenge on them for like the way they've been treating Harry. That's like
yes.
that's always so satisfying, and I'm like, I love it. Like burn it to the ground, Snape.
Mhm. Burn it to the ground.
There was one that I read back in, I think it was, oh my gosh, probably around 2010, because I think I was about 13 at the time. And it was like Snape showed up injured on the Dursleys' doorstep or whatever, and Harry had to like hide it. It was an absolutely absurd setup, but I remember it being very, very, very fun for 13-year-old me.
I think I remember reading that one. I think I do.
I'm so
Can't
glad someone
remember
else
the
remembers
title.
it. It feels like a fever dream.
I feel like I've read. There might have been a couple. I mean, the one that comes to mind when you say that is "Oh Mine Enemy."
Yes, it's that one.
Oh god, oh my enemy. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I tell people I'm like, if you read one Severitus fic, like start with that one
Yes.
because that's a really good one in my
It was
opinion.
totally absurd, though, let's be real.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
funny the way that Harry's trying to like hide him, and I'm like, this would never,
Mhm.
it wouldn't work. But I mean, it does work eventually. But yeah, no, that's such a good fic.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, and another Dumbledore says, "Oh, Snape, old buddy, old pal, you need to take Harry in and teach him occlumency."
Oh yeah, the occlumency is always a good way to get them together.
Yes, perfect.
Mhm, mhm.
It can be so angsty.
Oh yes, oh yes, 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 yes. But also there's the primary fic that this trope is making you think of is actually the Value of One's Word series by Oliver Snape. It starts off in third year, I think, with exactly that. Dumbledore makes Snape train Harry. Yeah, I think so. So it's like not your typical occlumency fic, although, it's the angst. The angst. We all love some angst in Severitus.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I might have actually read that one back when it was posted.
It's really, really good. I love it.
I used to seek out the whole, like, Snape is the one who teaches Harry how to do the Patronus charm
Oh god, yes!
Oh,
instead of Lupin.
Yes.
Yeah, there weren't many fics like that, but the ones that were there were pretty fantastic. I found a
Mm-hmm.
couple of them on LiveJournal and a few on FFnet. I didn't really think I found any on Potions and Snitches, though.
yeah, I feel like I've never read that.
Usually they were
That
just short one-shots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I'd be interested in reading those. Yeah, I love the Patronuses and just the creation of the Patronuses. Like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a nerd for Patronuses, so I should go search those out.
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with like Snape making sure to keep his Patronus a secret, but also somehow teaching Harry how to do it.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's challenging.
Hmm.
I'm not entirely sure whether this. I'll have to look it up later, or like once I'm awake again, or whatever. But I think one of the fics I read, the Years of His Life, has that.
Oh, does it?
I think so. I think so.
I'll have to check out those recs closer. I saw a bunch were added to that list earlier today, and I was like, ooh, more to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have quite an extensive list.
I want to apologize for that, though.
Don't.
That's all right.
Never apologize for giving us fit.
Oh, read Patronuses, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it was in the Snilly server or on the Potions and Stitches server that this was mentioned, but the significance of the Patronuses is also that female deer tended to flock together or like they tend to in nature rear their young together. So it's like Severitus is a thing in the Patronuses. Like,
Yeah.
ah.
Oh, that's cute.
That is cute. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not sure on which of the servers I stumbled upon this, but this Severitus I want.
You probably have some examples of Snape as mentor.
Yeah. So personally, I think that most Snape mentors Harry fics end up in a semi-formal or formal adoption route because, well, Severus can't help but take Harry in after having seen what A, Harry is capable of, and B, what Harry's life looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was one series by, I think it was Oliver Snape, where Snape actually adopts Harry.
Yes.
And I remember that,
Redefining life?
yes, I think so, yes. And it was absolutely amazing. I was obsessed with it back when it was first posted.
Hmm.
It's so good. It's also on the rec list.
Oh, is it? Perfect.
So it's basically Severus and Harry have to go on an undercover mission together to find out more about the Horcruxes.
Yes, that one. Oh, I loved
And
it.
where Harry poses as Severus' son,
Yes.
right? And then that ends up in an actual adoption.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Still one of my favorite Severitus rereads.
Same here. I think that actually was my top favorite series for Severitus.
Oh, nice.
Wow, I'll have to read that one. I haven't read Severitus in like quite a while now. I would say since when I write, I don't really read fic, so
Yeah.
I'm behind. So that rec list is coming just in time.
See, in 2022 alone, I opened and read the vast majority of, I think it was 7,743 fanfictions.
Wow. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
a diary or something, or how'd you?
No, I just read a lot. I've already read 35 books this year, like published books.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
I just read a
Dang.
lot and very, very fast.
Yeah. I was the same in like 2021. I basically trawled potions and snitches for fic. And yeah, I ran out of steam after a year or 1.5, but like I read almost all completed Severituses from the years 2009 to 2011 or something. So my recs are kind of specific for these 2 years, I feel like.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I go through phases with it where like I read a lot of Severitus fic and then I don't look at it for like months and then I come back and I read it and it's like I'm either binging it or not at all.
Same.
So yeah, I think I'm in like a lull right now, but it's like I'm gonna get that bug. It's gonna bite again soon, I'm sure. But yeah, it's a great trope. I feel like I'll never get sick of it. I just love them.
Yeah, I read the vast majority of the ones that I really liked back in, I think, 2011. But every so often, every few years, it just kind of hits me again that I need to go like reread some or go find some new ones.
Yeah.
Just every so often. It's like, again, it's like an illness that's just incurable.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to crawl through the tags periodically, and when there's a new one, it's always so exciting. Or if there's like a new author that writes like a really good one, it's like, ooh, fresh blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not the busiest trope. Like there's not always new stuff. Severitis, it's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of rereading.
Yes.
Yeah.
That goes on, which is fine. I love rereading stuff, but it makes it like that much. It makes it that much more special when someone new comes along.
Yeah, but also like there's a lot of comfort in rereading stuff that you'll love and
Yeah,
that will make you cry good tears because
sure, yeah.
I love those.
That and you always know the ending, so you're never surprised.
Yes.
Especially back before AO3, because people didn't really tend to tag for like main character death or sad endings or anything.
No,
Yeah.
definitely
Yes.
spoiled.
Yeah.
We are
Absolutely.
so spoiled now. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
so spoiled now. Holy cow.
I know people complain about like they didn't tag for that or whatever. I was like, well, you go to the bookstore and you get the
Yeah.
summary.
Right.
Like that's
Exactly.
like that's what you get,
Yeah.
and maybe some other famous person's quote about how they liked it. Like
Right.
that's what we got.
And like
Yeah.
there are options now for like published books, like Storygraph always lists content warnings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's user added though. So like your review will actually impact the content warnings that are listed on the page.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fascinating.
Huh.
People tag wildly different things in the same book.
Praise. Okay, yeah, fair enough. But also, I honestly have to say that I'm kind of a reader who is so invested in giving your favorite characters a happy ending that I tend to avoid those unhappy ending fics.
So do I. I write unhappy endings in my original fiction all the time, but I filter out the major character death tag immediately. I don't want to read it. I'm too sad.
Same. I had my heart broken by a few,
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. There are like a few that just stick with you. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like angst with the happy endings.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I can read a lot of really terrible shit that the characters go through, but as long as it ends happy, I'm like, okay, fine. I can go on a journey with
Just
them.
fix it. Just please fix it. Like
Yes, yes,
Beat them half to
absolutely,
death, abuse them to the ends of
absolutely.
the earth, absolutely, but make it better at the
Right.
end.
Right,
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Or if not happy, at least like hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put like
Yeah.
a band-aid on the gaping wound or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
something,
exactly.
please.
Like imply something good is gonna happen after the story ends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't just leave me here sad.
Mm-hmm. This.
Although that being said, I do kind of admire people who do go for like the really unhappy ending, because I'm like, I feel like that kind of takes balls to do that, because most people, I
Mhm.
think, so many people want the happy ending that when a fic doesn't have a happy ending, I'm like, oh, okay, like you went against the grain. Good on you.
Yeah.
Or even like ambiguous endings or like cliffhangers or something.
Oh my god, yes. Especially if it's a one-shot and they end on a cliffhanger. I'm just like, you can't do this.
I know.
Oh yeah.
It's
Mhm.
cruel.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of guilty of that.
How dare you?
How dare I?
I mean, I'll read it, but how dare you?
Right.
Well, like this one shot implies an unhappy ending, but there is more to that story. So it's like,
Oh, okay.
So yeah, imagine me with a big evil grin on my face. Off protocol, is Cat still here?
I know. I was like, did
Yeah.
we lose Cat?
Oh yeah,
Uh-oh.
she's muted. I hope not.
Oh, here I'm talking and nobody can hear me.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Yeah, you've been muted for a while. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cat's just like, wow, people are just completely dismissing what
Mhm.
No one's agreeing.
Yeah. Oh no.
oh,
whoops.
yeah. Well, all I really had to say at that point was, oh, so you didn't hear about the not happy ending thing.
No.
No, we missed that.
I feel like it shouldn't be a given.
Yeah.
Although when I read it and I have no idea, I kind of whine about it.
That's your God-given right.
Mhm.
Oh, this hurts so
Yep.
much. Oh.
Yeah.
I usually go to the ending first. I like calling myself I open at the close type of reader.
Nice. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I like that. I like that a
I love
lot.
that. That's
I
great.
love
Mhm.
that.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I did have a fic that chose not to warn and ended up being a MCD fic after like
Oh.
300,000 words.
Oh
And it
no.
destroyed me. And it was just so like, and it was like a flashback of this character, like, oh, this is why they're no longer here, or
Oh.
whatever. I was totally destroyed. And so now, yes, exactly like that. I have to at least scan. Usually I don't read it, but I'll go to the comments because you can always tell if
Yeah.
someone's
yeah.
like
Mm.
enraged or like, even if it was like, oh my gosh, that made me cry, but that was such a beautiful end, something like that. As
Mhm.
long as
Yeah.
people aren't enraged in the comments, then usually
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I can get through this.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll never, that is forever. That's a scar on my heart forever.
Yeah, that would actually ruin me. Holy cow.
It was, no, it's still,
Oh my God.
yep,
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
I feel the same about a series of one-shots that somehow have like a similar premise, but all end with Severus's canonical character death. Like,
Mhm.
Oh.
all three of them, all three that I can remember, are song fics.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's like, Severitus song fics. And it's like, I'm so heartbroken every time because like the songs are so lovely, but why did you have to do this to me? So yeah.
Because he did get out of that shrieking shack after all.
He did, period.
Snuck
And
away
no
when
one will
nobody
tell me
was
otherwise.
looking.
He did, and no one will tell me otherwise, period.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fun to see in some of the fics how people like save him. It's like, oh, they got him an antidote just in time, or they, apparated somewhere, whatever. Like it's like how to,
A house elf.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like how
Phoenix.
did they? Yeah, exactly. Felix, or just somebody like Hermione happens to have a whole bunch of healing potions with her or something.
Yes.
Yeah, time turner, going back, and like Harry after he discovers that, like then he's like, oh, I gotta go back, and
Yeah.
Or I read one Biodad Snape fic where basically Harry had already brewed or like prepared an antidote for Nagini, and just, Harry's inherited potion skill basically comes back to save
Yes.
Severus. That's the point.
Right. Yeah.
That is such convenient plot armor.
I know, I love it.
So do you want to go look at the categories now, or we can circle around back to them? Any opinions?
Okay. I don't mind either.
We can dive into.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to the categories.
But like the categories are so good.
Yeah, I was really surprised all the different things.
Oh yeah, and the Snape flavors. We have to discuss the Snape flavors.
Yes, I loved them so much.
Oh gosh, there's so much here. I don't even know where to start.
I think they were reformatted in 2022 or 3, I'm not sure. But yeah, Snape flavors. Like, I love that. Just like that categorization.
Because there are so many different ways to write Snape, and you just never really know which kind you're going to get, so having a little heads up is really nice, so you can find out exactly what you want.
This. Absolutely, absolutely. Or like avoid those you'd rather avoid.
Oh, and the tags and warnings too are always wonderful.
Absolutely.
So many things. So this Big Brother Snape looks like not a big category, but does anybody have anything to say about that?
Yes. So first of all, that is like a thing you would not suspect being Severitus, but also I feel like it's a thing. And I'm quoting Mothbars, author of the series Storm Surge here. I think I'm quoting her, but you can't expect a 20-ish year old who just came out fresh from a war and is just canonically, an immature bastard. It's kind of natural that it's not wholly a father figure role that Severus ends up playing to Harry, but more like a big brother. I think that's what Mothbus does in the series later on. But like, especially if Severus is still young when he takes in Harry, one can totally imagine that being a thing. Or like, and I'm not just talking about the biological thing, because I think that there's this tiny subgenre of big brothers where I think Snape is a pureblood family and Harry is their long lost second son.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like this subgenre. So there's like this biological big brother Snape, and then there's like this not quite parental, but like big brother sort of figure.
Yeah, I've seen it where Snape is de-aged to like 7 years old or something like that.
Oh, yes.
I always loved those.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. When like they see each other as children again, like, and children in a similar situation, it just fosters empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and can we talk about the sibling addition trope later, or now, or whenever?
What's the trope?
Sibling addition trope. So I think it's one of the tropes on Potions and Stitches, but basically like either it's established Severitus and they take in another child, or Severus already has a child and then takes in Harry.
Oh.
There's also this trope.
I read a few of those back in the day. There was one I found, I think in 2013 or 2014, where he takes in both Harry and Hermione.
Harry and Hermione, or there's one on PNS where he takes in Harry and Luna.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Yeah, that is cute. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I'm totally leading this off tangent because like, I stumbled over so many fics.
Yeah, I don't come across that particular trope too often. I do like when fics have Luna in them. I feel like not a lot of stories have Luna.
Absolutely.
So she's always fun. I know some people ship her and Harry.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it rather than Harry and Ginny, Harry and Luna, and I was like, yeah, like okay, like I would read that.
Yeah, I actually read a couple fics with that pairing, and they were always really, really nice, like really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of cuteness potential there.
Two weirdos banding together, always nice.
Yeah, like two outsiders.
Yes. Oh yeah, and there is this one story, I think, where Severus takes in Harry, Neville, and Draco. Not just one. There's not just one. I think it's a small thing.
Oh, I don't know. That doesn't sound familiar, but Snape taking in Neville would be interesting.
Yeah, that exists. There are several fics where Severus takes in at least Harry and Neville, if not Harry, Neville, and Draco.
Okay.
There's more than one. Pretty sure about
Yeah,
that.
I feel like I read a Snape takes in Harry and Neville one once, maybe one or two, but I don't remember ever reading one where he takes in all three. But I'm sure it's out there. I mean, I believe you.
That must have been a hell of a war. That
Yeah.
Yes.
they lost
Oh
all
my
the
God.
parents.
Oh my God, yes.
I like this Snape equals status to Harry. Is that often when Harry comes back to teach?
Yes, that was a really common one for that.
Uh-huh.
And there's also, so one of the subcategories of that is foes Snape and Harry. So whenever, they actually find themselves on opposite sides of the war, I think people on PNS would tag foes Snape and Harry.
What is it again?
Foes Snape and Harry.
Oh, foes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I remember there being a fic on PNS where they end up as best roomies after the war.
Oh.
Yes, I loved those.
So it's like, yay, I want.
How about healer Snape?
I never read any of those. It wasn't really my thing, but I heard that some of them were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that trope. I mean, I can't think of any fics honestly off the top of my head because I'm really bad with titles and remembering names of things, but I do like the idea of Snape having like some healing ability. You figure just with him being like a potions master, like I don't think it's too like outside the box for him to have like a medical knowledge also.
Exactly. In a way, I think a pharmacist would know how to give drugs and what drugs to give.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good way of putting it because I think of him as like a chemist, so I was like, okay, he would kind of know his way around like basic healing things, like even if he's not like a healer.
Exactly.
Plus the Valdera, so
Yes.
there is some history there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And plus, I feel like Snape can't help but heal Harry when he sees Harry injured, which is natural if in the Snape meets Dursley's scenario.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Also, healer Snape, I think my very first big association with the healer Snape trope is on AO3. It's Gold's DRZ girl, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Arms of a Dark Angel. I don't know whether anyone else of you read it, but like I feel like this is the quintessential healer Snape fic. I don't know. Plus, it has my very favorite line about non-biological Severitus. My absolutely favorite line. You need to read it. It's so good.
Yeah, I think it's Gold's Jersey Girl.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, don't mind me.
No, it's all good. Oh, Master Snape. Snape has absolute authority over Harry.
That's an interesting one. That sounds like that's a good angst one.
It is. It is. It is.
Although there's only 38 fics in that category.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of the bigger ones for sure compared to like parental Snape, which you can see is over 1,000.
Yeah.
Master Snape was a lot more common on fanfiction.net.
Yes.
Back in like 2009 to 2012. That was actually really, really common during that time.
Interesting.
Yeah, it never really blew up on Potions and Snitches though.
No, it didn't. Mason, are you by chance talking about Slave Child by Kristen Hudson?
Yes, that was a very big one. I remember that.
Oh yeah, I think I read that like a long time ago.
Yeah, I read that when it first started posting, but I never really got into it.
Yeah.
I stopped reading. Yeah, I think I stopped reading around chapter 5.
Okay.
Fair.
There was something, I forget now exactly what it was, but there was something that happened in the fic that I didn't love, so I think I put it aside for a while, thinking maybe I would go back to it, and then I don't think I ever did.
There was just something that gave me the extreme ick, and I was like, actually, I'm gonna back out of this now, thank you.
Yeah, it was the same thing, because I do remember not finishing it, but I genuinely don't remember now what the thing was that happened.
Well, I hope you all don't mind, but I put it on the rec list. Oops.
I'm actually tempted to reread it and actually see why I got so icked out by it, because I am not easily fazed by anything.
Right. Yeah, no, me neither. Like, there's certain tropes I avoid, but like, so slave fics aren't generally one of them. So I wonder what. And yeah, I don't remember now what happened. But yeah, I should give it another try.
Yeah. That reminds me, I'm not sure whether this is 100% applicable, but like, especially Slave Child, it also gives me platonic soulmates vibes a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think there is nothing explicitly tagged as such, but there
Hmm.
is a distinct subgenre in Severitus which feels more like platonic soulmates than anything else.
Okay, I've seen that tag on Fix. I don't know if I've seen it on Severitus Fix, but I've definitely read like I think it was a Marvel fic where it was platonic soulmates was the. I mean, I liked it. It was nice. It was like a found family fic. It ended up being, so it was really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I've read any soulmate fics, which is weird.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not a huge trope. It's not like a very not a big tag. Like I wouldn't even have thought to seek it out until I found it on this one Marvel fic that was recommended to me. So
It really depends on the fandom. There are some fandoms where that's
yeah,
an extremely common trope, and then there are others where you have maybe 100 fics total.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's interesting how different tropes are popular in different fandoms.
Absolutely.
Alpha, Beta, Omega is absolutely popping in the Witcher tag.
Oh, is it
Oh,
interesting?
Oh,
yes.
lol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lol.
I'm
yeah,
just so
that's
I'm
always
just
an interesting tag.
I know way too much about Alpha, Beta, Omega, and I don't even read it. I can give you a detailed history on the entire idea of it. Back to the 80s and everything.
Wow. Yeah, it seems like each fandom almost has its own different like take on the ABO trope.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are very, very strange. Did you guys ever hear about the court case about Omegaverse?
No.
No.
what?
Nope.
Like a
Yeah.
real life court case?
Yes, it actually went to federal court. It was pretty
What?
incredible.
Oh
I
my
did
god,
not
I
hear
think I
that.
heard of it.
Yeah, there's actually a two-part YouTube video series on it by Lindsay Ellis. And she went into every single bit of it, and it's very fascinating.
Wow.
Lol.
All I could really imagine the entire time was just some lawyer sitting at the coffee table. His wife comes in, he's got all this alphabet and omega stuff all over the table. And she's like, "What are you reading, honey?" And he's like, "Oh, just stuff for work. Just woof porn for work."
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep,
gosh.
for work.
I know it's almost like you feel bad for the judge almost. Like it's like sorry.
Oh, I know. I would have paid anything to be in that juror or the jury, though. I would have paid anything.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like against the trope. I don't read it very much. There's been a couple of one or two fics that I read that were like actually handled it like really well and really went into like the biology of it, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, some people get really cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not my go-to.
I kind of squick on it.
That is completely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's too messy for me.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
There was one that I always found to be oddly a squick for me. It was always like, I think, because, oh my gosh, what is it called? I think Sentinel trope or whatever. It's
Oh, like the Sentinel and Guide trope.
Yeah, I always
Guideverse.
absolutely, yes, I hated those. I
Oh.
read 3 of them, and
Mhm.
absolutely every single one of them had me just like, what is the point of this?
Lol. What?
Yeah, I have read it. It's been a while. I think because Sentinel was an actual TV show, I think.
Yes.
And then people took because it was gosh, I forget. I don't even remember now what the premise was, but like each person, there's like a sentinels and there's guides, and they're sort of like they're a pair, and they're
Yeah.
sort of like telepathic or something with each other. That could be totally wrong.
It was something like that.
They have some sort of like empathetic connection, or like they sort of like a yin and yang type thing. So it's sort of like soulmates, but
Mm-hmm.
I forget how they even connect. It's been so long since I've read those fics, or I never even saw like the source material.
Yeah, neither have I. I wonder if there's any Severitis, though. I might read that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
definitely. Yeah.
Serena, you mentioned reverse Severitis as well.
Yeah, this is reverse roles. I think this is how I got into reverse roles. So there is this one thing. I'm not sure whether I actually read it, but like that summary just so stuck out at me. When after the war, Harry travels back in time and somehow ends up being Severus's biological father. Like, what?
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
that's interesting.
It's like, Angst.
You shouldn't have drank that much, Harry. What were you thinking?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. Does anybody ever watch Futurama? There's that episode where like Fry becomes his own grandfather.
I know the episode you're talking
It
about.
reminds me of that for some reason.
Yeah. But I also really kind of like Harry with knowledge of how the war goes and somehow ending up back in time and mentoring Severus.
Mm-hmm.
And plus with Harry's like inborn capacity for empathy and taking care of others and rushing in to save the day, I can totally see it. It's one of my favorite tropes. So don't mind me here.
Hero complex Harry is near and dear to my heart.
Okay, there's another trope listed on here. Well, it says teacher Snape. Is that like the extra potions lessons or acclimancy?
So like if you look at the subcategories,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm not sure I remember any fics with trusted advisor Snape, but kind of like trusted mentor Snape, and also kind of unofficially teaching Snape, but also in a sense, unofficially teaching Snape, I think refers to where Snape isn't officially teaching at Hogwarts. And Professor Snape refers to the fics where one essential plot point is Severus teaches at Hogwarts,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I think of like teacher Snape as being like almost any fic that's primarily set like at Hogwarts with Harry and Snape in like their normal student and like teacher roles.
Mhm.
That's kind of how I would see it.
Yes,
That's what I would
exactly.
think. That's what I would think if I saw that tag. Just like
Exactly.
probably like close to canon, but they just have a kind of they develop a better relationship while still being
Mhm.
in their normal roles.
Yeah. I think the trusted advisor tag is actually the trusted mentor tag. Yeah, it's the
Oh.
trusted mentor tag. So like,
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, some of the tags kind of bleed into each other for me. Like to me, like Guardian Snape and Trusted Mentor Snape are like pretty similar.
But I feel like Guardian Snape also has kind of exaggerating, but like also a metaphysical component almost.
Oh, okay.
Like for instance, so Guardian Snape also includes, to me at least, stories post-war where Severus canonically died and becomes sort of like a guardian angel to Harry.
Oh, okay. Like a Force Ghost, like in Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe not quite.
So that is also included in Guardian Snape, for me, at least.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that.
I don't think I've ever read one of those fics.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that. They sure sound sad.
Yeah. But when I wasn't that, I used to read some fics where I knew the ending would not be happy. Like, I've got a few bookmarks. Well, not just a few, but like some bookmarks of fics I termed bittersweet.
hmm
So, like, and several of these is like Afterlife Guardian Snape sort of, thing.
Yeah, I feel like if you really want something sad, that would be a good one, at least for me.
Mm, mm, mm,
That sounds like that could be like really heartbreaking, especially at like a one shot.
mm.
Oh,
I mean, feel free to cut it out, but like I wrote one of these myself, so
well, that's cool.
Well, you can't just say that and not give us a link.
Mm-hmm.
ah,
If you're comfortable.
it's actually my very first Harry Potter fanfic.
Never mind that. Yeah.
I needed to make peace with canon, so I was like, okay, I needed to write this.
I love that.
Yeah, I actually tagged this making peace with canon.
I love that. No, because it's true. It's fan fiction is our outlet to like either fix what should have been different. It's
Yeah.
that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the good things about fic. It's like canon happened, and you can be like, I don't think so.
Right, exactly. But what if it didn't?
Or let me give you my pen. I'll change it for you. Yeah.
This.
So fun about fan fiction. There's no rules.
Nope.
Exactly.
Just like a megaverse.
Yeah.
No, there are set rules in a megaverse. I mean, there are some.
Messy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
Oh.
flex, but there's,
Yeah, there's a lot of stretching. Sorry,
Sorry,
that was
Way.
awful. I'm sorry. That was awful of me. I'm so sorry. I'm not actually sorry, but I'm so sorry. Yeah, a lot of stretching the boundaries.
Oh.
among other things. Yeah.
Among other things, yes. Like the bonds of trust.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a fic or?
Oh, no, I mean like the actual like bonds of trust between the two characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure there is a fanfiction out there called Bonds of Trust.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever read any of the tropes? Like it was like forced proximity to each other? Like they somehow got cursed.
Mhm.
There were a few Severitus fics like that on fanfiction.net
Yes.
back in the early 2010s. Yeah, so
Mhm.
it was like they got cursed and they couldn't move more than like 5 feet apart or something like that.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved them.
But there's a lot of humor potential there. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of them were.
And I think there is one Oliver Snape fic that drives it to the extreme by having. I think they were cursed and they have to share their internal organs
Oh god.
What?
so that they
What?
survive.
I did not see
Wow.
that coming.
I think that is the one.
I'm sorry, all I can think is just like that one SpongeBob clip where SpongeBob pulls up a shirt and he's like, "We're like brothers," and like Squidward and SpongeBob's skins connect. Oh god. I hated that as a child.
I think of Invader Zim when he's trying to like pretend to be human, so he keeps stealing everybody's
Yeah.
That's even better actually.
Okay, I kind of want to read that. I want to find. I hope somebody post a link for that somewhere.
I'm just
Okay,
yeah, I'm trying
can do
to
that.
like I just I cannot picture that. But also
Right, I need
kudos to them for coming up
Right?
with whatever this idea is because
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
off the wall. I love it.
Creative and unsettling. I like
And
it.
very unhinged. Yes.
Very
Yeah,
unhinged. Was it a
yeah.
crack fic or was it actually
No.
like serious?
It was serious.
Oh god.
wow.
Okay.
I think it was rather well written. Like
Oh.
the trope is kind of, it's not easy to digest, but if you want something new, I'll look it up.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed with like the Harry Potter fics, especially since magic exists canonically. There's a lot of sort of off the wall stuff that I've kind of come
Oh,
across
definitely.
that like maybe like there wouldn't be if it was just, like set in like the normal modern day world. So it's like there's a lot more wiggle room for like, maybe there's some sort of curse where they have to share organs and it's like, okay, sure, yeah, I can accept that.
Yeah, it's like I started with HP, like writing Harry Potter fan fiction, and then when I went to other fandoms, I was like, wait, they don't have magic.
Right.
I have to do everything the Muggle way. This is gonna
Yeah.
be
Right.
it was like so hard. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess this is now a magical AU or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. I almost had the opposite experience because I came from just like non-magical fandoms, and then when I went to Harry Potter, and I was like, oh, like the sky's the limit. There can just be a spell for anything.
I know, I know.
And it'll work.
Yeah. So the fic I was talking about is called "Keep Your Enemies Closer" by Oliver Snape. I posted the link into.
Okay.
Very,
That's a good
very, very close.
I
Yeah.
see it. Let me go find it. I will try to read it.
I put it
Yeah.
in. I put the link into the chat.
Yeah, I see it.
Cool.
We will have lots and lots of links.
Good.
Oh, yes.
What is one more link?
Right.
Oh,
I'm always in need of something new to read.
that might be the one that changes your life.
Yeah, there are a few gems that I found back in very early 2000s when I was very young and started reading fanfiction. Because I began reading fanfiction around 2004.
Oh, wow.
And I would have been, let's see, about 8 years old.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years old. Yeah. And I found LiveJournal and read some things that I really should not have read as a child.
Yeah.
Read a lot of
Oh
things
yeah,
like
I
that.
dare not think about the things that I happen to. I just
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff on LiveJournal. I remember those days.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Not
Yeah.
great things, but I learned
I
quite a
learned
bit.
a lot.
That's a diplomatic way of saying it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was informative.
Yeah.
Very informative.
For sure.
They went through a couple of purges, didn't they, LiveJournal?
Yeah.
I think they were sold to like a different company, and then a whole bunch of things changed. I mean, I haven't been on LiveJournal in ages,
I heard that too.
but I think they were. I don't know if they were a Russian company or if they were sold to a Russian company, but
They are
I'm not sure
owned
what the
by
state of it is.
Russians now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what happened with that is that I think it was like 75% of the user base of LiveJournal was actually Russian, because at the time it was US based, and they basically told the Russian government to go F off every single time they try to get information on the users, because the users were able to stay anonymous. They were able to post critiques about the Russian government at their leisure.
Right.
And then LiveJournal one day basically said, actually, you know what? We're going to give all your information to the Russians. And the website became dead overnight because every single Russian person on the website wiped their info and
Oh, for sure.
skedaddled.
Oh, wow.
There were, I think,
Oh.
5 or 6 arrests made because of LiveJournal posts.
What? That's dramatic.
Yeah,
I had
it
no
was
idea.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And then there
Jeez.
was that I can't remember the name of it, something moms. They went in and started doing the purges of anything not safe for work, anything homosexual, things like that. Anything even slightly like, let's be real, non-Christian. And of course they went after like rape recovery groups first.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
God.
Yeah, that was like their main target originally, was like people literally just trying to get support.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, it was
Ew.
bad.
Ew.
That's so gross.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Ugh.
really unpleasant.
There's this law that is in the House right now, I think.
Mhm.
Children's safety,
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh.
which is
I heard that.
really all kinds of scary.
Yeah, it's bad.
I've heard of that.
So basically, they would require the companies to determine whether each user was an adult or not. And how do you find that out? Here's my ID. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
really, that is so messed up.
When literally most of it, the reason why we're here and we're comfortable and like feel safe is the fact that we don't have that information. Like it's just,
Right.
yeah.
The anonymity is what makes it work.
Exactly. Like, yeah, my last name is on here because I use Zoom for work sometimes. But like on AO3 on Tumblr, oh yeah,
Right. It's not like you're
absolutely.
signing your work. Yeah. Like
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
not signing my
Yeah.
work. I usually write under a pen name anyway with my last name, so
Yeah.
it's whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, the anonymity is necessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that was quite a tangent. We're talking about like Russian government.
I know.
You started with Teacher Snape, I think. We were on that category.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. Well, what was it? I think we're at miscellaneous now, and that was very miscellaneous. So
Yeah, there we go. We finished it.
And there were a couple of things I kind of wanted to talk about, like some of the things that Harry and Snape have in common.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm all for, Severus and Harry, having some sort of a good relationship.
Yeah, they do have so much in common. They have actually really similar backgrounds when like just kind of on like the surface, like just with them both being half blood and them kind of growing up together in like, maybe less than stellar environments, and
Exactly.
they're both kind of outsiders at school for different reasons. Snape because he was just kind of an oddball, and Harry because he's a celebrity.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's both of them kind of found Hogwarts to be very home-like and where they felt accepted. So yeah, there's a lot of little things
Yeah, exactly.
that really connect them.
Oh, I'm really interested by your comment 3C1, the three brothers. What's that about?
Oh, well, some smart fan came up with this, the tale of the three brothers and
Yeah.
the cloak and the ring and the stone, and the wand. So Voldemort wanted the wand, he wanted power. Snape wanted to look into the past.
The stone.
Yeah, and Harry just wanted to move through life invisibly or whatever. So it's kind of saying
Interesting.
they are the three brothers.
Oh.
Yeah, I always liked that comparison.
Yeah.
That's so clever.
Somebody
Yeah.
tells, JRK that, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I meant that. That's what."
Yeah.
Sure you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Snape wore Heelys the entire series, but it was
Yes.
never
right.
mentioned because it was not important to Harry's journey.
Mhm.
That's how he was gliding all over the place. I mean, how
Right.
else? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my
See,
gosh,
I'm
I
so
love.
glad that everyone else realized. I'm so happy.
Yes, exactly.
And they both, dealt with loss in their lives, especially Lily.
Yeah.
Of course, losing a mother and losing either a very good friend or the love of your life.
Yeah.
Those are both pretty hard to make up for.
Yeah.
And abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
How much Harry suffered at the hands of the Dursleys? It was at the very minimum neglect,
Yes.
but also verbal abuse,
Mm-hmm.
possibly physical abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in canon, doesn't Petunia like try to hit him with a frying pan
Yeah.
once
The
or
frying
twice?
pan is
Yeah.
is coming to
And
my
then,
mind too.
yeah, in the movie, at least, I think Vernon grabs his hair at one point and shoves him under the stairs.
Yeah.
Mm.
In the 5th book, he actually strangles Harry,
Oh,
like grabs him
yeah,
around the neck.
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
I forgot about.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and we know Snape grew up kind of with. I don't remember offhand if there was like on screen, so to speak, physical abuse, but there is. It does kind of imply heavily.
It wasn't explicit, but it definitely implied that. And anyone who really like grew up in a house like that would definitely nod and be like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what happened in that household."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think the most detailed scene was during our clemency, the scene that shows Snape in the corner while
Yes, he's
Yeah.
crying and his father's shouting at his mother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and his mother's cowering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that just because somebody's yelling at you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
You're expecting to be physically smacked down.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think was it on Pottermore or something that was like a written character study thing or expansion on his character that went into the fact that his father was abusive?
Yes, it actually specifically stated that he was
Yeah.
generous with the whip or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And yeah, that was a thing about the headmasters, I think. So that wasn't a really interesting place for that to
Mhm.
come in. But still, there's a lot of things that are Snapey that are implied in the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Snape's worst memory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way he behaves, like he's expecting to be attacked from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These people have a map, they have a cloak of invisibility.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the level of stalking that goes into that
Yes.
is
Yeah.
absolutely traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Well, of course, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
Mhm. Asking
Mhm.
for it.
Mm.
Oh, yes. Victim blaming.
Mhm.
Yeah, we love it
Yes.
here, don't we?
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, anyway, going back to that, that's a trope I like in Severitus when they can sort of rescue each other, or when Snape like physically pulls Harry out of that situation, and then they sort of bond over it, and maybe kind of build a little bit of a relationship when they discover that they have this like shared common ground, and that Harry didn't grow up, in the lap of luxury like Snape suspects.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always a nice moment and fix.
Mhm.
Yeah, this. Probably one of the reasons why Snape meets Deathsys is like one of the biggest tropes in Severitus.
Mm-hmm.
If they could have just said to each other, Harry, your aunt and uncle really abused you. And if Harry said to Snape, man, my dad was a real dick to you, wasn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like they really could have found a lot of common ground there.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's actually one of my favorite AUs, is where they do find. I think there was actually a fic titled Common Ground
by
that was based on that.
by Gold's Jersey. Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
so. I think
yes,
that's what
yes.
it was. Yeah.
Yes, there is that fic. I think it begins with Harry hiding out in the library from the troll
Yes, it was that one.
in first year. Yeah, that one. It's a series. But that's like the first one shot in there. Yeah, it's a Common Ground series.
Here we go. I found it. Finding Common Ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I put down growing pains and I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that down.
I guess my interpretation was kind of like they're put in a situation, kind of like, say, he saves him from the Dursleys, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait, now I'm stuck with the brat. And like them having to get to know one another and like coexist and all that like angst and conflict, but also, like that's kind of how I interpreted it.
Yeah, same.
Because it's not going to just be like Snape is still going to have his, regardless of what Harry has been going through abuse wise, there's going to be a part of him who will be like, oh, he looks like James. He's going to grow into being just like James. But then after a while, he sees more and more of Lily's traits there. So it's just, seeing any opportunity to see Severus kind of soften and melt a little bit, and like to have Harry be the one, just like this
Yes.
adorable little kid that
Yes.
is driving him insane, but he can't help but find it endearing that he's just,
Yes.
So
Yes.
I love
That's
it.
one of my favorite tropes too. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
And he's actually really smart. So then he's like, oh, like then he starts having some pride in this child. And I mean, there's just a lot of, like my favorite is like when we're having young, like really young Harry and Severus, like him having to deal with like a Harry under 10, like regardless or even younger than that, has to just be hilarious. Like I just, even I just picturing Snape trying to put a jumper over like a toddler's head or like pick up socks all over the floor. Like I don't know. I think it's so cute and hilarious and like it just, oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was one a lot like that I read when I was a kid. I think Harry was maybe 4 years old in the fanfiction. I cannot for the life of me remember what it was called or even what it was about, but I remember that vividly and I remember it being awesome.
Yeah. I just think that's like, especially the point in time when Harry's going to be the most really innocent and vulnerable, and also for him to come out of like an abusive atmosphere and be someone who's like a sunshine and joy, regardless of everything, in comparison to like dark and drab and dreary Severus out of his childhood experience. So the conflicting side of things there.
Yes, so much.
Yeah, I just love the idea of him just being like, just like stop, he's playing with his food or something, just stop it and eat it. And then Harry's just giggling and throwing food at him or something, and he's just pulling his hair out. But it's so cute. Just all around dads, regardless of the situation, be that biological, adoption, whatever. Severus as a dad of a toddler is absolutely hilarious, especially single dad. If it's just him, it has to be a disaster. Like it's just, or if they're at Hogwarts, usually it's like, go play with the house elves. Like he drops him off at the kitchen and then leaves and does his business. And Harry's just in there like causing mayhem and all that. So yeah, so funny. Which actually, because I mentioned the story that tricked me into reading an MCD started off as Severitus, and it was a dreary fic, but it was Harry was at Hogwarts and then he would play with Draco and they grew up together. So then it like gradually turned into, romantic dreary, but Severus was his adopted like dad. And pretty much it was like that. He was just like, find someone else to play with you, or like he made the portraits be the ones to like kind of watch where he was and they'd tell him what he was up to or if he got into trouble, or just is really funny.
I think I've read that actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think I have. That sounds very familiar.
I'm so sorry. Did you get all the way to the end?
I actually have no idea, but I probably did.
Because I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I think I've actually read that. That sounds very, very familiar, like beat for beat, every plot point.
Yeah, it looked really good. Like just based off of the summary, and it was a really amazing story and went, through the war, and it was so detailed, and their relationship, and then I just it's just so destroyed. But that was a fun Severitus, bit of it. So seeing him, go, because that was him pre-Hogwarts. Like he literally took him, I don't know if it was like 6 or something like that. So then he just lived at Hogwarts like during the summers and stuff like that, he was there by himself. And when the kids were all there, then he'd be hanging out with the teachers, or I don't remember, but yeah. So it's fun. I love little Harry. Like I just any opportunity for him to I just think is so, so cute.
Yeah. And the opportunity for him to just be a child that he never got to be in canon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, there's actually, what is it? It's a Snames fic, so it's Severus and James, and it's a story where they're at Hogwarts, and all of a sudden this tiny child comes out of nowhere and is like calling Severus mommy, like mom or something like that. And so it turns out that Severus and James it's Harry and they're the parents. And of course, at that time, he and James are still very much enemies of one another. And so obviously it's an eventual, like it's, MPreg genre sort of thing. And so obviously in the future, things change. It's just kind of like instead of things between James and Lily becoming for the better, it's like Severus and James for the better. And so the whole time it's like Severus is at school, like trying to do school, and then worrying about this little kid that they can't figure out how to send back to his real timeline. And that was really cute. And so, and obviously having to deal with like technically co-parenting with James, which obviously goes very poorly. So, so that was really good.
Can you rate this to me, please?
Yeah, I will find it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to read that.
Yes, that was a really good one. It's just that was so cute.
Yeah.
And it's a good one. I'll find it.
That kind of reminds me of the comics of Momo T. Day on Tumblr, where Sirius is the godfather, and somehow or other Snape ends up being the godmother. And they're supposed to be co-parent, and apparently they're divorced for some reason, and there's a lot.
As one does, It's
Yeah.
Oh my god. There is this fic. It's called How Like Home by Waiting for Daisies, I
That
think.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, where Harry accidentally ends up through the veil in the battle during the Ministry and ends up in an alternative universe where James and Lily are alive and Severus and Sirius are together.
Yes, that sounds very familiar. I think I read that.
I love I love Snack.
Yeah, there's something very satisfying about it.
Honestly, any pairing with Snape, I'm not picky.
Yeah, same here.
I just honestly, what am I saying? Like, it's just as long as he's involved, it's a great time.
The only one I've never cared for was Snape and Lucius.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never liked it very much.
Oh.
I just don't like Lucius's character.
Okay. Yeah, I love Lucius when we get to see because I like to, when it comes to kind of like going back to Marauders time, like I like playing with, what is it, like Lucius and James kind of being like the previous generation versions of Harry and Draco, but then obviously how they're different based on like the time period they grow up in and the people that they're surrounded with. And it's just, and that's like the other generational things is fun. Like I love pulling back to like when the characters are younger, which is another thing I love about Severus and the Marauders and stuff like that, is it's like, okay, going back to the beginning and what their childhood was like and stuff like that. But
makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think my favorite like romantic pairing for Snape is Lupin. Like I'm a Snoopin shipper. That's probably the only two characters I do ship. I don't do a lot of like romantic shipping in the Potterverse, but them I can definitely get behind.
Yeah, it's funny because for me it started as Snary, but then now I think after I like happened upon the Sname, like a couple different Snames fics, then all of a sudden I'm pulled into like this, like Snames is 100% my OTP now because it's like the most intense enemies to lovers. Like I'm like, oh yeah, Drury has the conflict and it's like Harry versus Draco, but I'm like, no, literally there's like really fucked up shit going on between those two guys. Like, how is it gonna come out of it? Because people will be like, oh, Harry's his soulmate because of the, Stag Patronus. I was like, but so does his dad. His dad has the Stag Patronus too. So really, like, so then we can get into Severus and James are soulmates, and then Harry's their child, and boom, we're still on topic. So
Yeah, I see it.
If you have
Mhm.
any good recommendations, share them because I would like to read one of those.
Oh yeah, there's one that like if you're comfortable, I have the EPUB of a story that was removed from AO3. That was the
Ooh,
first story that I read, which was called The Friend of a Friend, and it was all about it's James' point of view, and he has to befriend Severus so that he can actually like take Lily to like a winter dance or something like that. So she's like, I won't date you until you like actually genuinely befriend my best friend.
I've read that.
And then through that, you have? Yeah,
Yeah, I've read that.
I know. So it goes through then him actually getting to know him and then them, falling in love with one another. And I just like, that was the first time that I did like actually saw James as a human being because I was one of those
Yeah.
Snape
Yeah.
fans
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
absolutely loathed James Potter. Like when I wrote him, I made him an absolute psychopath. Like it's just the worst
Oh.
person ever. And now I love that like complexity of his character just as much as the complexity of Severus's character. Like it's just a different side of a different coin. So yeah, so that one's my favorite. But then there's one called Revenge is Sweet, which is really angsty and super painful, but has a happy ending. And it does have them with
Yes.
little
Okay.
Harry, which is super cute. But yeah, but getting there is a really intense because it goes everything through school, falling out, and Death Eater versus Order, and like life after. I mean, it's really insane. And that writer only wrote that story. Like that literally is the one story they wrote. And so it's like, how do you just sit down and you're like, this is the thing that I'm going to write, this epic James and Severus story out of nowhere. And then that's the only thing they write.
It's their magnum opus.
I know. I just thought it was amazing. So that's a good one too. But yeah, so I'm very sad that the friend of a friend has been removed because obviously then other people can't find it and fall in love with names like I did or whatever. And so that's a big bummer, but everyone has their reasons and I respect that,
Yeah.
So
I would love that EPUB though. I would actually really like that.
yes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I have I think everything that they've ever written,
Oh
Golden
wow.
Empire. So yeah,
Wow.
I was able to track it down. I did some like Reddit, like deep dive.
Oh, I love Reddit deep dives.
I know,
Nice.
it's so great. So I'm just like, thank you, fandom. Like, thank you for coming to my rescue.
There's actually an entire subreddit devoted to that.
There is. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I love it. People are freaking nuts. Like,
I know.
they save the wildest things.
Yeah. But I do not recommend ever volunteering to host works, like creative works for a really popular fandom author who has to pull their works but wants them to be available to
Oh
everybody.
gosh.
So I don't know if you're familiar with what is it, Gala Placidia,
Sounds familiar.
who was like a super popular Dreary author.
Yes, I know who that is.
Now she is a published author. So she had to, because of like restrictions with actually becoming a published author, she had to like remove her works from, public domain. But she pretty much said to fandom, like, here, I'm going to remove them on this date. You have time to download them and then share them with each other. Like, she's like, these belong to you. Just because I have to remove them, associated with me doesn't mean that they don't have to go away. So of course, me being me was like, okay, I'm getting a hold of everything. Like I exported all of her podfics from Spotify. I went and got all these blah, 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 blah. And I kid you not, I've had to make new links for people to download from Google Drive because it keeps maxing out at the maximum downloads.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
So it's like there's a Reddit post which I go back and forth on, like considering muting, because people, like, I feel like every other day are like, the link isn't working for me
Oh
or
god.
something like that. But then also it's like my bleeding heart is like, I get it, like you want to get a hold of them, not that you couldn't ask someone else, but oh my gosh. And actually I'm in the process of figuring out how I'm going to host them that's not Google related, because Google's the problem. But yeah, so, and there's what was it, when I had made a new folder but hadn't switched it to like available for like, whatever, anyone to view. And so I kid you not, I got so many emails like boo, 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 like within the span of
Oh
like 20
god.
minutes of
Mhm.
people requesting access. I'm like, holy shit, of course this is like reaching its maximum, because I'm like, I've literally been sitting here 5 minutes and I have 20 emails from people trying to get access to this
Oh
link.
wow.
And I was just like, oh my God, this is absolutely insane. So
Insane.
I love that I did that for people. Like, I do. I do love that I did that.
Mhm.
But also,
Never again, right?
oh my God, what a burden.
It's actually really interesting, though, that she had to pull her fix.
Yeah.
Usually, I've been researching the publishing industry since I was about 7 years old. The traditional publishing one, not self-publishing. But it's actually really interesting because most authors do not have to remove their fan fiction off of public domain once they publish it. The only ones who really do are ones who actually used their fan fiction, filed off the serial numbers, and then published it as original fiction. So like
Oh, yes. Yeah.
yeah, Master of the Universe, which turned into 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
But Naomi Novik,
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure the specifics because she just had like a newsletter, going over the fact that she had to pull them or whatnot or was getting. So maybe it was kind of her like getting ready to move on or have her own catalog that then she might utilize, at a later time or something like that. So
yeah, maybe.
who knows?
Because Naomi Novik, who wrote Spinning Silver and Uprooted and a couple of other books,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
the Last Skulliment, she used to actually write Harry Potter fanfiction.
Yeah.
Back in the day, she's actually one of the founders of AO3,
Yeah.
and you can still find her fanfictions on there.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Growing pains.
Harry and Severus and, being a child. It's
Growing pains. Growing pains.
oh. Mhm, mhm.
Growing pains. For me, growing pains also means like Severus getting the emotional maturity to actually raise a child.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. Desperately needed.
Desperately need it.
Oh gosh, more with my little Harry. Like now I'm seeing him middle of the night. There's a thunderstorm. Imagine him like crawling into bed with Severus because he's scared. And of course, Severus, the last thing he wants is this sticky child to like come anywhere near him. And yet, like, he's like, okay, fine. And he'll like,
Oh my god. Okay, I've got one very bittersweet rec for exactly this scene.
oh, I love that.
It's bittersweet. I'll find it later. But like it's basically after Severus's death, like they had a good relationship. And then after Severus's death, it was some post stitches. And basically Harry writes Severus a thank you letter to his deceased father, so to say. And one of the scenes is just Harry mentioning that Severus, during the thunderstorm, I think, ran around in their flat looking for thread and needle because he wanted to fix Harry's favorite blanket.
Oh,
Oh man.
Oh.
Like,
That's sad.
oh.
I hurt.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
the cute. Oh.
So yeah, that is the exact fic I have to think of when I hear this. Yeah.
Now we've already talked about Dad Snape, I think. Does anyone have anything to add?
Not really, apart from that I want
Did we kind of cover it? Yeah.
that he drew the short straw in this fucking war. He doesn't deserve it, period.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, someone just let the man have some peace, please.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right.
this.
I guess I haven't read any, but I can only imagine stories where it is like teen Harry when he's really starting to get into his angsty phase, how that sort of conflict would go, like parental Snape wise, of obviously at some point your kids have to rebel and, things like that, and just what that must be like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how are they good for each other? Okay, the first one I listed was found family,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
which pretty much all of Harry's family in canon is found family.
I think a big one is the fact that, however good or bad, Severus does have history with his parents, if we're going based off of Harry being obviously still canon-wise James and Lily's son. So being able to be someone that can answer questions for him that the Dursleys always shut down. It's always literally like a taboo thing to even bring up his parents, like at all ever. So even if it's kind of told in a way that's trying to, I don't know, but I think that's a great thing to take advantage of when it comes to their characters together, because Harry will ask, and I feel like Severus will either one want to like rub in his face how awful his dad was, or how, and then how wonderful his mom was, but was, something blah blah blah. I just I like that Harry can get some of his past through him. So, and then on the reverse side, Harry, depending on his age and when their interactions, it's like Severus is finally getting kind of the respect, affection, affirmation, unconditional love and affection from someone, regardless of his flaws. So,
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, because I mean, even in canon, Snape is the most forthcoming with Harry about a lot of the stuff going on, like especially in the fifth book.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he does not
Yes.
pull any punches.
Yes.
He'll sit there and be like, "Well, you're a spy, aren't you?" And Snape's just like, "Oh yeah, I am."
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like that's another actual form of caring for someone is not protecting them when, like, I feel like Snape always knew this boy doesn't need protecting, but obviously I'm still here doing this because I said I would. So it's,
Yeah.
he's just,
Like physical protecting, yes. Emotional protecting,
yes,
not so much.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Plus, maybe it's also because he knows or suspects Harry hates being kept in the dark and would go snooping. If the more Harry's kept
yeah.
in the dark, the more he goes snooping. So to prevent that, also in Severus's own interest, because he doesn't have to run off after Harry.
Right. I know it's like if you just told him, then you could tell him in
Yeah.
his safe environment, or he's going to go do his own thing and probably cause a million other more dangerous circumstances to try and find
Exactly.
this information.
Exactly. Exactly. Also, I just found the fic I was talking about. It's called 100 Ways by Whitetail on Potions and Stitches. This is so cute and so sad and so heartbreaking and so, oh. Yeah.
Molding Harry in as much as less James and more Lily, which almost, in canon, Snape really doesn't understand how much of Lily is in Harry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He like refuses to. I mean, obviously, physically, the eyes are there. There's no avoiding the eyes, but yeah, as far as personality goes, he's immediately pushing that prejudice onto him, assuming and not giving him the opportunity, be that out of just hurt because it's like because of this child,
Mm-hmm.
my best friend, love of my life, whatever, died. Like, there's just all these reasons. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, oh God, he's just so, I just love him. He's just so
Mm-hmm.
complicated and broken, and it's just so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Snape plus unconditional love
Hmm.
would be so healing for him.
Oh, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Just like emotional maturity, desperately needed.
Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I think one of the things in Severitus is also like Severus having this moment where he realizes, oh my God, there is this little human being in front of me that is looking up to me. Like, I don't know, having this absolute trust from a child is like so, yeah, it's so healing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of makes him realize he's got to get his shit together.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, exactly. And canonically, I like to claim that Severus is among the adults who did the most for Harry, even in canon.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Hmm.
So, like, the person who does the most for Harry. So it's like, even under like these super shit circumstances, Snape shows some form of care in his own way. And in Severitus, once you turn that into understanding of, well, that's just, oh my God. In Moment of Impact, there is this line. So basically, the second installment of Moment of Impact by Sweet Samba is an epistolary where Harry and Severus like write back and forth. And one of those letters is they write about the premise. So if you had 5 words to describe me, what would it be? And Severus writes, he is just a boy.
That's harsh.
Mm.
No, so the context is that this is half quoted from this song from Les Miserables. So, like, bring him home. He is only a boy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. That makes a lot more
Oh.
sense.
He shouldn't have to fight this goddamn war, And now I'm making myself cry.
Mhm.
That sort of sentiment.
I mean, the entire thing, it really is just a children's war.
Yeah, and child soldiers. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm really making, like, thinking about this letter is making me cry. Because it's so good.
I'll have to read that fic.
Absolutely recommend Moment of Impact. The whole series. It's so good.
I think I recognize the name of that one, but I've never actually read it.
Full rec. It's one of my all-time favorite Severituses.
Okay, good to know.
Especially the epistolary. Them getting to know each other through the letters, and it's like some silliness in the sense of, I think at the end of the first installment, Severus teaches Harry the shaving charm. Like, this is such a dad thing to do.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, I do know this fic.
And then in the second installment, Severus and Harry in defense classes because they have to keep up the charade, and Severus and Harry mock dueling, and Harry remote casting the shaving charm on Severus. Like, so this is so silly and so hilarious and so fun. This is a sort of thing that I think a son would do to tease his dad. You get that sort of feeling, and then you have like the switch to those profound moments. As I said, like, he is only a boy. He shouldn't have to fight this war,
I think I've actually read this.
I love this. I love this. I love this, especially the second installment.
Serena, going back to what you said about Harry playing a prank on Snape with the charm, I always like in the Severitus fics when they get to the point where they can kind of be not like silly with each other, but when they relax enough around each other to sort of like
Yes.
let loose a bit and maybe just like kind of lightly roast each other, or just Harry might play like a really small prank on Snape and it's like fine. It's nice when they get to that level of comfort with each other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Or like they snark at each other. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, like their banter is always gold. So
also, like father, like son.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're both super sarcastic.
Yeah. I love those moments.
Yeah, they both have a very similar sense of humor, and I don't think either of them they never have a chance to actually realize that. And I feel like if they did, they would have some great moments. Like if they ever had to go to like a function together, I feel like they would have a blast just gossiping about everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's kind of a smartass in the books. I feel like not so much in the movies, it doesn't quite come across, but
yeah,
but in the books he has some good moments where he burns people. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's get to the fics. Let's start with I called you both Mason and Paracosim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is your pen name, and you've done that fic, That Awful Boy, and the Pauper Prince, the follow-up. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started writing that, I think. Let's see. So it's actually a rewrite of an original one that I wrote called Dirge of Emerald, back in, I think, 2014.
Oh.
If I'm remembering correctly. And it was a proper Severitus fic with Snape as Harry's bio father. Again, very, very old trope. And I tried to keep it as close to the challenge as possible. So it was pretty different from That Awful Boy. And then I decided to rewrite it when I was about 16, only got about 2 chapters in, and then abandoned it for years afterwards. And then in 2018, just kind of struck me all of a sudden that I needed to rewrite it fully. And I think I wrote it in exactly 1 year. I think I was a day off from 1 year.
Oh, wow.
And it was fun. It was a really, really good time.
Yeah.
All right. Tea Time, you've also written some Severitus. I don't have them listed here, but would you like to talk about them?
I wrote the one that Serena did the podfic of. I believe it was called, Quidditch and Quietude, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of like a one-shot where Harry has a bad time at a Quidditch match and he loses, and he just goes and seeks out Snape's company because he knows that Snape is cozy and will give him, space, and he just is very comfortable with Snape at this point in the one shot. And yeah, Serena was kind enough to read it. So that was
It was fun.
Yeah, it was just, I think it was for a collection. I think it might have been like a Cozy Tober, I think it was.
Yes.
Like an October fall themed fix. And then I wrote another one a couple years ago called The Draft of Asphodel, where Harry drinks a potion that him and Snape both have to drink 2 parts of this one like super evil potion that sort of binds them. It's like it's not quite slave fic, but like Harry is kind of bound to Snape until they can find the antidote. So it's very
Oof.
angsty
I
throughout.
remember that fic.
Yeah. Yeah, did you read it?
Yeah, I didn't read the whole thing. I read at least 2 to 3 chapters of it.
Okay.
Wasn't my thing, so I didn't finish it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I do remember it, and I have very vivid memories of the first chapter.
Oh wow, okay. The first chapter. Yeah, so I wrote that one, and then I'm actually posting a sequel for it.
Oh, really?
Called The Elixir of Amaranth. Yeah, I posted about 11 chapters, and I think the total is going to be like 30 some chapters. I wrote most of it. I would say like probably like 90% of it's written, which is why I haven't been reading Severitus fic for the last year, because I've been writing my own stuff.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't like it's hard for me to read what I'm writing, like the kinds of fics that I'm writing, the same tropes. So, but basically, they focus on kind of Snape sort of rescues Harry from his relatives and takes him in, and they sort of their relationship just kind of grows from there. They start seeing eye to eye, and Harry starts to get more comfortable with him over summer, and the relationship kind of deepens and grows in the sequel. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Maybe I'll give it a try again, see if I actually like it better this time. Because my tastes have changed dramatically.
Yeah, that happens. That happens with me too. Like certain things that I've read or written, I'm like, I definitely would not have read or written XYZ thing years ago.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Same.
See, I
I
got
like-
my
I don't know who that person was before.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I cannot recognize that person. Oh, it's so fun.
Those are the only 3 stories that I have for Harry Potter.
You say only.
Well, some people have a lot.
Fair.
I think the most I've ever seen was someone had it was well over 300,
Wow.
One author.
and a lot of them were at least 25,000 words.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was actually kind of terrifying.
That's impressive.
It was.
That is. Although I do know a lovingly called potfic robot among potfickers, so basically someone who does a lot of potfics, and they recently reached their 1,500th potfic.
Oh wow.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
right. No, The Meaning of Mistletoe by Andrina.
Yeah, I didn't read that one. I'm not familiar with that one.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not either, so
I'm like racking my memory. I'm like, actually, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, even the author doesn't sound familiar.
No.
Yeah, I think the fig is not tagged Severitus, but it is Severitus. It is. It's just not tagged. I had it wrecked from 3 different places by now.
okay.
So, yeah. Also, the premise sort of reminds me of a rather recent Severitus read of mine. It's We'll Keep the King by Bliss and the Cake. If anyone read that one. It's also Remus and then Snoopin. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Yeah, but like, I can recommend that one. It's really good.
Yeah, I mentioned that Masa wasn't able to join us today, and I kind of miss him because especially Snoopin he loves. He probably would have, a lot of good insights.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like Snoopin Dreary Severitus is like one of the biggest combinations
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
Severitus.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually is. Especially back in like 2004, before the last book was released. That was a really, really big one.
Mhm.
Did anyone ever read Catechism by Dreamfall? I'm not sure it's how you say it out loud. It was like really dark, depressing one.
Really?
Yeah, I read it. Let's see. I've actually got my fanfiction.net profile up and I'm looking at all of my old bookmarks.
Love.
Let's see. It was
Nice.
published in 2004
Oh,
and it was like extreme abuse one though, so I would be aware of that. Yeah, it literally says disturbing in the summary.
Oof. Oh,
and let's see. I'm trying to think where in canon that was at that time. That would have been after Order of the Phoenix, I believe.
Yes, let's see. Half-Blood Prince came out in 2009, according to Google. And actually, Order of the Phoenix came... Oh, these are the movies. What the heck? Hang on a second.
Not this.
I was like,
Yeah.
that sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Half-Blood Prince came out in 2005.
Mhm.
Order of the Phoenix came out in 2003.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, who was I speaking with earlier? Acid was talking about how the writers at that time would try to finish their fix-it before the next book came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't know
Mhm.
how it was gonna
Absolutely.
change. Yeah.
Did you meet Acid Burn?
Acid burn, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
lovely guy. I absolutely love him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever read Love Thy Neighbor by Alexana?
Yes, I did.
I loved that one. They actually completed it some years ago.
They did?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, yes. I remember that one. Yes, I think it was one of the first stories I read. I'm pretty sure I can remember like the exact moment where I started reading that. Yes, I remember that one. Okay, cool. I found the FFN link. I'm pretty sure I read it on Passions and Stitches though.
Great. Thank you.
Love Thy Neighbor. Yes. Oh my god. I think it was the first or second fic I read on Passions and Stitches.
Mm.
What was the title?
I was talking about Love Thy Neighbor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No need to apologize.
I had a brain fart there for a second.
It's fine.
Yeah, it was a Potions and Stitches one originally. I think I read it on fanfiction.net though when they posted it there.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Did anyone ever read, oh my gosh, what was the name of it? Taming Snakes by Delusional Grandeur?
Not sure I did.
It was a Slytherin Harry story. It was like heavy on like the mentor Snape.
Nope. I'm not sure I did.
I remember it being very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met anyone else who's actually read it before.
Okay. Could you rec it, please?
Yes, I will.
Let me
Actually,
find
I've
it.
got it right here.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll be having many, many links for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I don't think we're gonna probably cover all of these today. You were already 2.5 hours in, so
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we are? Holy cow.
I am. Well, I'm not sorry for sending in so many links, Law.
mhm.
But also thank you to whoever wrecked in care off, because yes, I remember that one vividly.
Oh, I think that was me. I love Fang's Fawn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really cute one. I've been actually meaning to reread that one because I just remember it
Yeah,
was
me too. Oh my god.
cute and sweet. Kind of different a bit because it's very like animagus focused.
Yeah.
Harry, the plot is that Harry finds an injured bat in the garden, and
Oh, I know that one.
yeah, and he keeps the bat in his room over summer. It's like between 4th and 5th year,
Mm-hmm.
and then so the bat, spoiler alert, the bat is Snape, and and he like sees how Harry actually lives, like with his aunt and
Yes.
uncle.
Yeah.
Yes. The quintessential Snape stasis, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And then he, does something about it. So yeah, it's a sweet little fic. I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm. There are so many good stories, though.
And then just to interject, I did find the fic that I talked about earlier about surprise little Harry called When Pigs Fly by Moonlight
Oh.
Ethereal Aria. So
Okay.
the summary is Severus had always believed that romance wasn't for him. Everyone else believed him to be a filthy Death Eater scum, and he agreed, never fathoming the concept of someone liking him enough to actually pursue a relationship with him, until one fine day in 6th year, when he finds himself with a small, adorable child clinging to his right leg, calling him Papa.
Oh.
It's so good. It's rated T, so it's like, it's just kind of like, even though it's a slash fic, it's just like a nice feel good kind of getting together, but a lot of Severus and Harry stuff, which is super
Oh.
cute. I love it.
Okay, cool.
And literally February or something like that, the author started writing a sequel, or not necessarily a sequel, but like bonus like stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has actually a series now that you could subscribe to. Highly recommend. So that story was finished, but they're writing more. So that's exciting.
Yes. Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
More stuff to read. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess from the rather large list, I'll have to choose, I guess,
Yeah.
what I'll talk about. So I think we discussed the moment of impact series and redefining life and value of one's word. To recollect the future is, I won't spoiler it too much, but it's almost canon based, except it's not. Then Prince Manor is a Bionat Snape story. Broken Wings also has this animagus component that I like. Arms of a Dark Angel, full recommendation. There's like this 1.5 paragraphs that for me are the quintessential adopted Severitus. It ends on Severus finding that Harry has become something of a quote unquote borrowed son to him. Like, oh, yeah. World in Pieces is a universe travel fic. So basically, Gryffindor Harry, canon Harry travels to a world where, in that world, the Slytherin Harry, who had a sort of positive mentor-mentee relationship with Severus, where that Slytherin Harry died, and they summon Harry from canon universe. So that is the point of this fic. That We Might Shine is a Voldemort wins AU. Magnus Veritatum. I very recommend this. The author has several works in progress, including Forsaken Scion. That is also a Bionat Snape story. I can't exactly say what exactly I love about this, but it's really, really nice. I love the story. Henna Hübsch. Oh my god. They write again, full rec. I'm not sure people know them because it's on Potions and Stitches, but I especially recommend Surgery, the story, and the Chills series. Circumstance is one of those fics that give platonic soulmate away. A Second Chance is one of the few post-war beginning Severitus stories that I loved. Consequences is also this platonic soulmates kind of thing. Like None Other is a classic series. It's been ongoing for over a decade.
Oh, wow.
Longer, actually, if people are to be believed. Again, the writing is super engaging. Forgetting to Remember is unique. I'll just say Empreg as tag. Storm Surge, I talked about this. King's Cross Redux is one of those reverse Severituses. Glamour I put in because it's one of my favorite Bionat stories, as is Just Like His Father, which is a whip. The Years of His Life, I mentioned it with a word, as I did Slave Child. Remember Now, Harry is... So basically, it also has toddler Harry. It's so cute, and there is, this one scene where every time I read this scene, I cry good tears, so that is why I recommend it. Sons and Fathers is... It's an AU, and I really, really like it. I won't say more about that. I think the premise is rather unique. To Shape and Change, Place of Honor as the first Severitus I remember reading. I think that was all. Yeah, I think so. Sorry that I talked so much though.
No,
Feel
you're
free
okay.
to.
Oh, everybody had great things to say. I really appreciate everybody coming tonight.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, it was nice.
Yeah, it's been a joy. Again, I was sitting here a smile on my face throughout.
Oh,
A
yes.
big grin, actually.
That's great.
One last thing. Did anyone ever read Far Beyond a Promise Kept by Oliver Snape?
Yes, it is the Value of One's Word series.
Yes, I loved that one. That was probably my favorite one
Yes.
of all time, back when it was first posted. I binged it in one day.
I love this. Have you read its sequel,
I probably have. Which one was that?
A Promise Upheld?
Yes, I did read that.
Yes. Oh my god, it's so good.
I can
yeah.
hardly remember it though, so I think I actually need to reread that.
Cool. Let's. Yeah.
A Promise Held, is that what it was?
Far Beyond a Promise Kept.
Oh, but the sequel?
A Promise Upheld.
Oh yeah, A Promise Upheld.
Wait. When you're done typing, I'll copy this into...
I'm done.
I'll just put this in here. Yeah.
I have very, very vivid memories of two specific scenes in that fanfiction. And it's been many years, but I still think about them on a pretty regular basis.
If you want, Mason, I also put the AO3 link for that series on the doc.
Oh, perfect. I usually do my reading on AO3 now.
Cool. Happy to do that. Well,
Thank you.
Yeah. Which scene is it that you remember? Because I have like one that I remember so vividly.
Let's see, I think this is the one I'm thinking of. I think it's from this fanfiction. There's like a scene where Hermione's telling a lot of the students about dentists, muggle dentists. I think it's this fanfiction.
Oh yes, and people interpret it as torture.
Yes, they do. I have very vivid memories of that specific scene.
It's so hilarious. And there is like my favorite scene from Fabio the Promise Kept is where Snape goes outside to greet Harry's swimming teacher, who knocked. And then when Severus goes in, they have like this small exchange about Harry calling Severus dad, and Severus just replies, but only in private.
Yes, I do remember that.
It's one of my absolute favorite scenes from that series.
Okay, well, I think we've pretty much covered it.
Yay!
Yay.
Definitely a lot. Plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining me tonight.
Of course.
It was lovely. Thank
Of course, it was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good.
So, yeah, tea time and paracosim Mason, SerenaEW, Megs, Green Megs, no ham, and me, Snape Centric. Everybody have a good one.
You too.
Thank
Thank you so
for
much. You
having
too.
us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This has been nice.
You bet. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And that concludes our discussion. Thanks to SerenaEW, Paracosim, Tea Time 42, and our own Megs for a fascinating chat. Be sure to tune in for episode 41B, which will be the audio play Escape Clauses. Here's the trailer.
Congratulations. You are cordially invited to escape clauses. You will not be able to leave the set of rooms once entered until you reach the requirements that will unlock these confines once more. The titular escape clauses, so to say. Only in cooperation can you set yourselves free. But beware, you might feel like time here seems to pass more quickly than usual. You wouldn't want to be missed after all. Godspeed.
Welcome to Escape Clauses, a Severitus Big Bang escape room podcast. Join Harry Potter, Severus Snape, and members of the Severitus community as they navigate the intricacies of Hogwarts, reluctant mentorship, defeating a Dark Lord, and, most of all, finding a family on the way. Enjoy!
The show will come out later in June and is a lot of fun. Check out our additional reading page at snapechatpodcast.com for links to the stories and more. And here we must say goodbye. We wish we didn't have to, but it hasn't escaped our notice that life isn't fair. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Tumblr and X, or leave a comment on our website at snapechatpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. Many thanks to Megs for her continued work on our website. Support us on Ko-fi to help defray costs of production. That's ko-fi.com. Donate $10 or more, and we'll send some nifty Snape Chat stickers to you wherever in the world you live. Be sure to check out Care of Magical Shippers podcast and alwayssnape.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay snarky.